It's episode 6 of me reading Warcorpse's book, Kissing and Shitting the Stars, A Look at the Stars Today. And it's probably going to be 2 or 3 more episodes. Like this episode, and then another episode, and then maybe another episode to finish this clusterfuck. And I actually got some fucking alcohol in my system last night. And this morning, technically. So, let's just get to it. Jason Lewis. Jason Lewis is a guy you've probably never heard of. He is a nationally syndicated conservative talk radio show host. Talk radio host? You didn't need to fucking... He's also the only one of them that I actually enjoy some of the time. The reason I actually put him in my category is he goes after Republicans just as much as he goes after Democrats. He says the farm subsidies disdain for farm subsidies. That he does welfare dependence. The fuck? That makes literally no fucking sense. Sure, there are things I disagree with him on, but at least Jason has the balls to stand there and debate, unlike some of his counterparts. The thing is that Jason is not a stupid man. He's got to know on some level that he's on the losing side of the gay marriage thing. I heard him rattle off about it beforehand. Before and all one word, because this motherfucker's never heard of the space bar or spell check. I pretty much disagree with everything he said about it. He's got to know... I actually have to fucking click on this shit. He's got to know his argument doesn't have a leg to stand on. He can't be dumb enough to think that our country is founded on any sort of Christian belief. Kinda was, kinda wasn't. It was more founded on assholes and hypocrites. If it was, why the fuck didn't the founding fathers write Christian laws into the Constitution? Some people think they did. Why didn't they make Christianity the official religion of their new country? I don't fucking know. They've been dead fucking hundreds of goddamn years. I don't fucking know. Why did they have penalties for practicing other religions if Christianity was so fucking important to them? Why are any of the things that the Bible says you can't do laws in our country? Oh, murder, thieving are pretty much universal standards. The idolatry thing, and a bunch of the other shit from the Ten Commandments is not, it's not in there. I think killing gays was actually a part of the Constitution, or at least the governance of the United States for a little bit in the beginning. That shit got stopped fairly quickly, but there was the whole still to stay for gay people that most people had for a majority of, and including this time, of the fucking country. The answer is we were not founded on any sort of Christian doctrine or belief. Again, doesn't really matter. Most of the founding fathers were not what you would call religious men by any stretch of the imagination. They set up a country where laws were predicated on right and wrong and personal liberty, which also included owning black people. They just primarily concerned if said activity harmed another human. And also that, who and what they considered a human and all this other shit. The founding fathers were just fine with people harming themselves. And black people. Just, glossing over that. The sad fact of the matter is that the only defense people can muster against homosexual marriage is based upon personal religious beliefs. I challenge Jason to give me one damn shred of evidence that gay marriage will destroy the fabric of society, families or kids. He's not going to because he won't be able to find it. Not by any group that doesn't start from the biased Christian viewpoint. As if you don't have a fucking biased viewpoint. It's not going to change. Straight marriage is going to remain the same disaster it's always been. Kids are going to be just fine regardless of the makeup of their parents as long as the environment is loving and supportive. which is something I presume you never got. All they're asking for is the same rights and privileges that heterosexual counterparts get under the law, which is this is very fairly progressive for someone who throws around the word faggot a lot. So. You cannot exclude people just because they live a life that you don't agree with. That's not the way our laws work, and it's not the way the Founding Fathers wanted this shit to roll. Again, you're ignoring all the fucking shitty things that the Founding Fathers did. Hell, I bet you $20 the Founding Fathers would be against the idea of state-sanctioned marriage and marriage licenses in the first place. Again, who gives a shit? One, they've been dead a long time, and two, they're a bunch of hypocrites, except for the ones who didn't actually own slaves. Maybe actually fought to not have slavery as a part of the fucking country, but they didn't actually win, so it's a moot fucking point. Maybe you should be the first conservative radio host to actually go with what the founders intended and publicly state that you know that George Washington won't give a shit, so why the fuck should I? Again, I'm pretty sure George Washington was pretty anti-gay. But again, that doesn't fucking matter, I guess. He also owned slaves. Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby, he's still alive and still doing stand-up. I don't know if his stand-up is still as funny as it was back in the day. I didn't know he was doing stand-up, even in 2014. I haven't seen or heard any of it for years. That being said, it's still impressive for a man his age to still be on the road like he is. I just want to talk about what he's most famous for, The Cosby Show. And the rape stuff. A lot of people love this show, and honestly, I don't know fucking why. The show fucking sucked. Wow. It was completely unfucking believable. Two successful black people having a large family is unfucking believable. Cliff and Claire had 5 kids, all of them perfect. None of them ever got into any trouble. None of them had any real problems and no big mistakes, which is basically like every other fucking sitcom during the fucking 80s. The worst problem that Cliff and Claire had to deal with was Vanessa got drunk once. That was it. Very believable. Let's move on to the thing about Cliff being cheap with money. In the show, Cliff is a doctor and Claire's a lawyer. Why in the flying fuck would these people even think for 2 seconds before they spent money? Because they grew up poor. They understand what a dollar means, and what a dollar was and is, so they didn't want to just... Maybe they also wanted to teach their kids the value of money, and not just raise them to be entitled fucking pricks. Just snowballing. Just fucking snowballing. Why are they living in that small house when a sprawling mansion would be more believable? Again, maybe they just like the fucking house. Not everybody needs to live in a, an expansive mansion. Not everybody who has money even does that shit, Last I checked, Claire and Cliff have the 2 most lucrative professions on the goddamn planet. They should be rolling in dough like hogs roll in shit. You would know that, given that you're part hog. Slap on top of that, most of the jokes were lame. Almost everything they talked about was as safe as can be. Whoa, save the comedy. Whoa. Why the show still has such a legacy, I'll never fucking know. Legacy, fucking showing positive, stereotypes or positive role models for black people and black kids, which is a good thing. It's too bad Bill Cosby's a piece of shit. Why the shit? If you like the Cosby Show and you're pissed off with my opinion of it, please send your complaints to my publicist, Mr. Go Fuck Yourself. Justin Bieber. I could almost write a book on this little Canadian douchebag. It's more talented than you are. Maybe that's why you're so pissy about it. Who fucking knows? What should I say about him? He's had the first rise, the first fall, then a resurgence, and now he's getting ready for the final fall. I think at some point Jesus got in there too. Pretty soon he'll be taken from our collective conscious and left to drift in obscurity where he belongs. Okay. This little fuck's Fuckface's career lasted way longer than I thought it would. I figured he'd have baby, and that'd be the end of it. Shows the staying power you can get if you happen to be an idol to tween girls and get their mom's pussy wet all at the same time. Kind of weird, Warcorpse. Just saying. He was a fucking teenager himself. Like, he was under 18 when I think Baby came out, which is like... You're assuming a lot of women are pedophiles? Or just want to fuck young boys? That's weird. So that's about all I'm going to say about Justin in this book. I do hope that one day Bieber really does meet the Dark Lord Cthulhu. All hail Cthulhu, the beginning and ending of all things. Cthulhu's kind of a bitch in the books, but whatever. At least the H.P. Lovecraft books. From what I hear. Jada Pinkett Smith. Jada Pinkett Smith, I have absolutely nothing to say about her. She's Will Smith's wife. Thanks for reading. Teller. Yes, I'm actually doing Penn and Teller separately. Why? Because they're two different people. Actually, two very different people. Plus, I like being different. Everyone else does them together. Fuck it. I'm going to do them separately. Phrasing, Warcorpse. If you don't know, Teller is the silent half of Penn and Teller. He's the brains behind the operation. That's not being mean to Penn Jillette, because he'll say the exact same thing. Penn described Teller as the second best magician he's ever known in his entire life. He put himself somewhere in the top 500 magicians. Penn provides the charisma and voice. Teller provides the brains. He's also a skeptic and will maybe one day assume James Randi's throne. He also lectures at different places without being fooled. Yes, he can actually talk if you are still living under a rock and didn't know. He's also a collector of art and rare magic books. So let's tell everyone, believe it or not, he's not just some guy that Penn stuffs into a carry-on before he flies. Keanu Reeves. Where it called Kevin Costner the crown king of roller coaster careers, you are the motherfucking Prince of Darkness. The reason I say this is Kevin Costner keeps himself in the limelight to one varying degree or another. You, on the other hand, go so far out of the limelight you probably land in hell. Then you come back and skyrocket right back into to the tippy top. Then after a little while, you go straight back down whatever hole you came out of. So, can you give us a hint, Reeves, on when the next meteoric rise will be? You've done it before and you'll do it again. You'll rise like a phoenix out of the pits of hell. It's not... You know they rise out of ashes, not a pit of hell. It's not how phoenixes fucking work. Pat Robertson. Just a straight line of fuck you. Repeated. Fuck your beliefs, fuck your stupid ass show, fuck the way you interpret a book, fuck the fact that people have become more bitter and hate-filled because of your disgusting viewpoints. Again, this is coming from Warcorpse, of all fucking people. Fuck the fact that you've destroyed families and young people's lives. Fuck your twisted backwater view of the world. Just fuck off and retire. You're 80, just go away, you wrinkled old fuck. You put up with your shit long enough, just fuck off. Ted Nugent. No, I'm not going to tag Ted for hunting because I have no problem with hunting. His love of guns... No, I love guns too. Put it in your fucking mouth. His political beliefs, no, because he doesn't try to say he's the only correct opinion on the matter. That's complete and utter horse shit. I just wanted to bring up one little thing. You said in an interview that you'd be just fine with dead child molesters. I forgot which one, but you can find it on YouTube. I'm not really sure you can, though, Ted. The reason I say this is Ted Nugent, and he cannot deny this because it happened... It was on a VH1 Behind the Music. I believe it was his second wife was 17 at the time that he married her. Didn't you have to get her parents' permission to make yourself her legal guardian, in all caps? It should be noted he was about 30 at the time. Like I said, he cannot deny this because it's public knowledge. So he was a minor at the time. She was a minor at the time. You found a way so that it was nice and legal. Like I said, he cannot deny this happened because it did. It's in the public record. Might want to rethink a few things, Teddy. I would like to point out that Ted Nugent has committed no crimes whatsoever. Excuse me. Oh, he's not committed any crime. Like, okay. Ted Nugent has never committed any fucking crimes. You're delusional. You know that, right, Warcorpse? Chuck Liddell. Chuck the Iceman Liddell. The guy who did more than anyone to legitimize mainstream MMA. This guy was the face of MMA back when there were no faces of MMA and the whole sport of MMA was almost dead. Now he's almost dead. This guy came along when the UFC was practically dead and MMA events weren't sanctioned anywhere but a few places. You know, Japan, mostly. This was shortly after some senators said that the UFC was cockfighting with people. It's true. He legitimized it because it became a household name and the face for MMA. He was the first true celebrity of MMA. You can argue Tito Ortiz, but remember Chuck kicked his ass. They traded fights. So after fighting the best in the world, saving the UFC, and doing more than anyone to bring MMA into people's homes, what did Chuck do when his career started to wind down? Now, if it were up to me, Chuck would still be fighting, but I don't have the power. You know, he basically was fighting until he was brain dead, right? That's like Dana White had to say, no, you can't fight any fucking more. You're gonna die. Every octagon fighter has to face the time when it's over. It came time for Chuck when he started suffering vicious knockout after vicious knockout. What did he do? He put his gloves up for good and stepped away. He didn't keep fighting and didn't keep making himself into a bigger joke. He was a fucking joke when he retired, Warcorpse. He retired with some fucking dignity. He's still involved with the UFC. Just these days, it's in the office, not the octagon. As much as I would like to see him fight again, I'm even happier that I won't. I don't want my favorite UFC fighter of all time to become a joke. You know, fuck the fact that he might die in the ring. You just don't want him to be a fucking joke. One of those fighters that everybody feels sorry for because he doesn't know it's over. That's not going to happen with Chuck Liddell. When he stepped away for good. For those reasons, at least in this writer's mind, he'll always be the champ. Seth MacFarlane. I don't know what to say about this guy. I really don't. I'm actually fucking speechless. Thing is, I love the man's work. I love Family Guy. I love American Dad. And I even was one of the few people that liked the Cleveland show. I like the entertainment that Seth MacFarlane presents. I can't stand Seth MacFarlane's personal politics, though. Every time that guy's on a news show or talk show, he usually starts spewing out so much bullshit that I want to put my fist through something. Right upside the head, Warcorpse. He's another rich liberal that drives me fucking bonkers. Rich liberals, woo! So what does that mean for me? The answer is nothing. I still enjoy Family Guy, American Dad, and whatever else Seth does. While at the same time, hate every way this guy believes shit should be run. That's a trait that sadly I see with fewer and fewer Americans. If there is some aspect that you don't like about someone, they automatically place them on their shit face heap. It's their fucking choice, motherfucker. Especially if they're in the entertainment business. Just because you don't agree with whomever or whatever over whatever doesn't mean they didn't bring you enjoyment over the years. So it's like, oh shit, Seth MacFarlane's kind of an asshole. Yeah. That's so bad. You know, it's like, oh, you gave me enjoyment, but fuck it, you're a piece of shit now. I'm not gonna watch your shit. I'm not gonna patronize you. So for me, just because I think that Seth MacFarlane, Farland spelled incorrectly, is a fucking ultra-liberal douchebag, doesn't mean I'm going to stop watching Family Guy. CM Punk. So when the fuck are you coming back to the WWE? Probably never. He did kind of shit on the WWE pretty heavily in that Cole Cabana fucking podcast. We all know you're going to. We all know that eventually Vincent will write a big enough check and you'll be back. I don't think that your absence is a publicity stunt because of it was you'd be back for SummerSlam. That's when a lot of people have to renew the network, and Punk might help get the numbers up a bit. That said, we all know that you'll be back when Vince ponies up with a new contract. One other thing, CM Punk Phil Brooks, would you stop jamming in every single interview that you're straight edge? Look, I know you're straight edge. We all know you're straight edge, and have no problem with that. Hell, be proud of the fact that you're straight edge. Do you have to add it every time you get a mic in your hands, though? It's his prerogative to do that. Yes, that worked for your wrestling chick, but that doesn't mean you have to bring it up with every fucking reporter you talk to. No one's going to forget that you're straight edge in 5 seconds. That's like me constantly saying I like drinking beer. Everyone knows I like to drink beer. My YouTube channels prove I like to drink beer. I don't need to bring it up every 5 minutes. I trust people to remember. Even though you won't, Warcorpse. Because of alcoholism. Alan Jackson. Do you have a fucking 5-year-old writing your songs, Al? I mean, almost every single song you sing on any CD deals with one of 4 things. 1, America. 2, law. Of 3, beer consumption of booze. And law of 3. Or consumption of booze. And 4, Jesus. That's about it. Simple topics. Even simpler songs. So I have to wonder if is a 5-year-old writing this shit for you? That's true. You got a fucking savant on your hands. 5-year-old can barely fucking, with shit its pants about half the fucking time. It's writing fucking songs. I have a hard time believing that one man can literally stretch 4 topics into the number of CDs you've made. You're very unoriginal. You're not unoriginal. Well, one, he is, like, Alan Jackson is unoriginal. But you're unimaginative, Warcorpse. That sounded like they came from someone who still writes in crayon. If you don't believe me, just listen to Jackson's songs. No. Almost all of them are about one of the 4. The chords are something that a 3rd grader could play. The lyrics, well, need I go on? If you are an Alan Jackson fan and you're pissed off with what I wrote here, then might I suggest sending a complaint to the office of Mr. Go Fuck Yourself. You're redundant and very fucking unoriginal and unimaginative. Warcorpse. Susan Sarandon. Susan Sarandon also was actually going to just be a little blurb about how she's no longer relevant. Then I bothered to do 5 seconds of research on her and found out what a sexist cunt she really is. Wow. I'm sure with that statement, anyone who identifies themselves as liberals are frothing at the mouth. No. She's still a sexist bitch. Remember, the ism street goes both ways. Warcorpse. Always will. Any assurances that she says she's for equality and she's a bleeding heart that gives a shit about everyone are now proved to be bullshit. Her chosen donations prove her to be a sexist cunt. She's given substantial money to something called Emily's List. What's that, you might ask? Well, Emily's List is a political action group in the United States that aims to help elect pro-liberal, pro-progressive, pro-democrat females to office. Everyone else can fuck off. Well, men get elected pretty fucking easily to Congress and, local and state governments, so helping women is no bad. It's not even fucking sexist. Fucking Jesus Christ. If you're a man, Republican, Independent, or Conservative, this group will tell you to fuck off. Well, that's what they can do. Political action committees can do that. Emily's List doesn't say that it's a feminist group, but I feel safe with that assumption. In a nutshell, if you have a view outside of the stinking cunts at Emily's List, then fuck off. To date, it's helped get elected over 100 women to Congress, 19 senators and governors, and some other people in what they call targeted races. I'll wager most of these races were in areas that the women would have won just because she was a Democrat. She was a D next to her name. Now the people at Emily's List can be closed off and closed-minded and exclusionary as they want. It's a private organization that can do whatever the fuck it wants, but I'm going to bitch about it. However, Susan trying to pass herself off as this great, caring woman who just want everyone to get along is total bullshit. Because you want everybody to get along, Warcorpse. I feel that through your shitty videos and your shitty writing. You can't do that, Suze, if you support an openly sexist group, not openly sexist group. Which again, it's not sexist. You dumb fucking worthless cum stain. Yes, it is in fact sexist if your group just helps women. No. It isn't? Sorry, there's another fucking gender on this planet. Wait, what? Sorry, there's another fucking gender on this planet. Let's leave aside the fact that she doesn't even give a shit about all women. If you're a conservative woman, Susan doesn't want to know you or care about what's wrong with you. Susan just proves how intolerant most of the people who tout their tolerance really are. It's just like, you gotta be tolerant of the fucking intolerant. No, I fucking don't. And no, they fucking don't. You dopey cunt. God. Her thought is, I'll tolerate you as long as you don't do anything that I don't agree with. When you do, fuck off. In all caps. An exclamation point. I also happen to know you got the Action Against Hunger Humanitarian Award. Really? Did you do anything to end hunger? She probably did some stuff. Outside of just doing some TV spots to make yourself feel better, if you donated any money, did you actually make sure that it got to the hungry people? Did you go over there personally and plant crops? No. Well, she's not a farmer, Warcorpse. Did you bother to raise awareness of a man named Norman Borlaug who is doing more to help stop hunger than you and all the Hollywood fucks combined? Of course you can't talk about Norman, can you? Because Greenpeace has pretty much made him the devil, which is true. Greenpeace is in with Hollywood, so all you have to support them. That's not true. The seeds that Norman's group was ready to hand over to those hungry people that would have stopped hunger, Greenpeace flipped their shit about. They started scaring the governments about genetically modified food, and the seeds that would have saved millions went unused. Great job, Susan. We could have used you on that one. This last part is to Susan, feminists or manginas or hell, anyone who's crying over what I just wrote. I suggest this. Take a powerful battery-operated dildo. Get some fresh batteries in it. Put that motherfucker up on high. Stick that thing in either your pussy or up your ass. But then leave it until that frown turns upside down. That sounds like a challenge, Warcorpse. A challenge I will accept. Just to fuck with you. Catherine Zeta-Jones. Catherine Zeta-Jones, I have absolutely nothing to say about her. Nothing at all. Why the fuck? Her job is an actress, and she keeps her personal beliefs to herself. She's the wife of Michael Douglas. I don't actually think that's true anymore. And the mother of two. That's all I've got. Kind of refreshing. There's one person in Hollywood, they can keep their personal beliefs to themselves. It's like, oh, you can't fucking... You have to keep your fucking shit to yourself. Blah, blah, blah. Jenny McCarthy, who is someone I fucking hate. You know, I know people have brought this up about Jenny McCarthy in the past, but it still pisses me off. She is still one of the biggest anti-vaccination voices out there. It's bad enough that she uses her public forum to spew this nonsense and bullshit. What's worse, people actually believe her. It's true. These days, she claims that she's not anti-vaccine, but everything else renders a different verdict. Jenny says she's not anti-vaccination yet, when doctors and experts assure the population that vaccines are safe and necessary. There's a period there. Jenny claims that's a lie. Really, Jenny, I had no idea that you were such a fucking expert on the subject. Really, you've gone through the 8 years of medical school. Could I please see your degree in pediatric care or vaccinations or any... I'm not sure if there's a degree actually for vaccinations, but it's probably the fucking point. Or any medical degree at all. The fact that you did a centerfold for Playboy doesn't make you a fucking expert. She'd like us to think it's a worldwide conspiracy that all the doctors are in on. She'd also like us to think that people are sick of the lie and need to know the truth. You want the truth, you dumb blonde bitch. I'll tell you the truth. Vaccines are safe and vaccines are necessary. I heard in an interview done by PBS with Jenny McCarthy where she stated that given a choice between chickenpox and autism, they take the chickenpox. Well, guess what, you silly, stupid cunt. Vaccines protect against one whole hell of a lot more than chickenpox. Which would you rather have, autism or polio? A disease guaranteed to cripple and possibly kill. It's not guaranteed to cripple, because some people have actually had polio and not been crippled, but fairly high up. The cripple part of the disease is pretty fucking high up there. Would you rather have autism or typhoid? A disease pretty much guaranteed to kill. I'm not sure if we actually vaccinate for that. Would you rather have autism or the Black Death? There's not a vaccine for the Black Death, I don't think. There's prophylaxis, which is not the same thing as a vaccine. But how often is the Black Death actually a threat? There are just a few of the diseases that vaccines have essentially wiped off the face of the Western world. The vaccines didn't wipe the Black Death. As far as I know, it did. Maybe it did. Even though I think vaccines are for viruses, whereas the bubonic plague is a bacteria, not a virus. You've also brought up that you like safe vaccines spaced out appropriately and free of toxins. I have news for you, jerk-ass. They are spaced appropriately and they are free of toxins. Unless you actually have an allergic reaction to something that's in the... which is possible. Yeah, something inside the vaccine could actually cause a reaction. I have news... the spacing of vaccines are determined by pediatricians, again doctors, or people that are a whole lot smart than you. A whole lot smarter. Let's talk, though, about the toxins. The number one, the anti-vaccine nitwits love to bring up is mercury. Yes, mercury was in vaccines a year ago. It wasn't mercury, it was thimerosal, which has mercury in it, but yes, mercury was... however, the thing to remember is the amount of mercury in said vaccines. The amount in a vaccine was somewhere near point blah 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 blah. That wouldn't hurt a 6-ounce hamster, let alone a 22-pound child. You get more fucking mercury every time you open a can of Star-Kissed tuna. Finally, I just want to comment on, maybe educate Jenny, on what happened to the doctor that started this whole fucking mess. The doctor that started this whole anti-vaccination crusade, even though it's not true because anti-vaccination has been a thing for a while and it's a whole thing. The doctor that started this whole anti-vaccination crusade and is responsible for the first outbreaks of measles we've had in this country in over 50 fucking years. This guy has lost for all time his license to practice medicine anywhere in the civilized world. That's not necessarily true. Just, he got his medical license revoked in the UK, which I don't think that means he can't get it in America or anywhere else. This guy is facing possible criminal charges. Do you really think that is just a conspiracy from the evil medical establishment? Probably they do. No, it's because his report was so friggin' again, you say friggin' fucking, but you just can say fucking. Like, why the friggin'? It makes no fucking sense. Fraudulent that it might be criminally negligent. It was enough to get license to practice medicine revoked. Jesus Christ. To get his license to practice medicine revoked. So Jenny, while I certainly sympathize and have no idea what it's like to have a child with autism, don't blame the vaccines. It has been proven 8 ways from Sunday. There's no link between vaccinations and autism. Your son is autistic for whatever reason, but it's not the fucking vaccines. If there was a link between autism and vaccines, they would have found it by now. That's a whole conspiracy thing some people believe. Mark Dice. Here's a motherfucker that's so fucking nuts that the only reason that anyone knows his name is because of the World Wide Web. I mean, this guy can find conspiracies and hidden meaning in everything from a dollar bill to a tub of country crock. I don't know if this jerk-off believes this shit or if he just likes to rain on everyone's parade. This guy is so fucking nuts that he makes Alex Jones look normal. Stop thinking the Illuminati have tainted your iced tea. There's not a conspiracy behind everything. Well, that's not true. A lot of things have conspiracies, but they're not conspiracy theories. They're just actual conspiracies. Things that people find fun, like the Super Bowl, are not a secret evil way to keep people in line. The government fucks everything up. You think they could pull something that secret off without a hitch, which is a common refrain. I've even actually used that argument before, or not, it's not even an argument, I just pointed that out. The government couldn't order pizza without at least 3 major hitches. They also can't do anything in secret. Look at Watergate. They had 4 guys in it, and it still got found out about. Well, it's because the fucking they got caught in the act and this whole thing. The reason why these massive conspiracies don't work is people suck at secrets. And it's not necessarily true. Some people are good at secrets, but it just would require a shit ton of people to actually be good at secrets. Ashton Kutcher. The king of the do nothing campaign that somehow people think that you're actually doing something. This guy's been involved in more bullshit do nothing campaigns than anyone else I know. You don't know Ashton Kutcher. He had more photos with him holding little signs like "Real men don't buy girls" and bring our grills home." Seriously, spell check, motherfucker. Than anyone. Yeah, like the people that kidnap entire busloads of schoolgirls give a rat's ass when some Hollywood actor says with a little sign. He's also probably doing stuff behind the scenes. It's more so like this shit, like it's more for like the Western world. Like, this shit's actually fucking happening. This is fucked up. We need to fight against this shit. So actually, if you want to actually help rather than just make yourself feel better, you've got money, use it. Hire some fucking mercenaries to go in and get them. That won't solve anything. Urge people to call their congressman or something. If you do really think that a Twitter or Facebook campaign is going to do a damn thing, then my boy, you need to get your head out of your ass. Oh, the next person. Donald Trump, the man with the biggest ego in all of New York City. The guy who has such a massive ego that he needs to keep himself relevant by attempting to sue a late night talk show host over jokes. A man that just can't shave his head and accept his baldness. Have you seen your own hair, Warcorpse? Fucking hell. You're like this close to having a fucking skullet. I'm just gonna wonder, Donnie, are you still going after Obama with the whole birth certificate thing? Yes. Or have you finally fucked off on that? Have you finally given up and accepted the fact that our president was indeed born in this country? If that's the case, I wonder what's next for Don to keep himself relevant. God like the president. Actually, I hope it's a presidential run. You got your fucking wish, dickhead. The only reason I say this is Donald is not a career politician. That's usually a good thing. Okay, you know. Someone who has no political capital is going to run a country in a city that's fucking, it's driven on fucking politics and political capital. He actually has some knowledge of the private sector. Okay, how to fucking fail 8 different fucking ways. And what working people face. Oh. Yeah, this guy in the gilded fucking tower knows what people will go through. He has a better knowledge of everyday American life than most people that have been in office for 10 years. So. Sure, he's a lot richer than most Americans, but he's not in the Washington bubble. So if he's the person that the Republicans field in 2016, I'll probably vote for him. I wonder if you did vote for him. You know, over that cunt Hillary, because I'm sure you fucking say that shit about Hillary Clinton. You fucking worthless piece of shit. Prince. All I really have to say about Prince is this. Most people would consider Michael Jackson kind of weird. Most people consider Marilyn Manson kind of a weird dude. Rob Zombie, Ozzy Osbourne, Hunter S. Thompson, Stephen King, all kind of considered weird dudes. Dudes with an apostrophe S, which would mean that it's possessive. Why in the flying fuck is Prince not considered a weird dude? He lives in Princeland, right here in Minnesota. His whole house is wired for sound, so that if he's sitting on the toilet taking a shit and he suddenly gets inspiration, he can record it. He has people sign a non-disclosure agreement that what you say and do in Princeland stays in Princeland. He also legally changed his name to that one of your symbol. What the fuck? That one of the symbol? He's just kind of a weird dude. He'd have to be to be a goddamn Jehovah's Witness. How Prince avoided the label of weird dude in the media, I'll never fucking know, because he's generally not weird. Joel Osteen. Well, here's another dick face that pumps out self-help books with amazing regularity. Except, unlike Dr. Phil, he doesn't try to come at it from a scholarly point of view. He comes from the always excusable God viewpoint. He writes books like Your Best Life, No. What the fuck? Your Best Life, No. I Declare an Every Day a Friday. The fuck? Simple bullshit books who occupy bored religious housewives before the box of wine they drink every afternoon kicks in. What is it with you and box wine? It's not bad. It's probably better than you drinking fucking piss water. The books are going to do the same thing that all the other self-help books do. Fuck tit nothing. Even though fuck titty, titty fucking is the thing. If I had to guess, probably 0.03% of the people that actually read those books get any sort of even temporary help. Unlike Dr. Phil, Joel has a built-in excuse of God. There's no way in heaven, hell, or earth for me to completely 100% disprove the existence of God. Going against me further is Joel might have a slightly higher success rate than Phil. The reason is the people that buy his books are religiously inclined to do so. They'd have to be to believe the drivel that comes out of his mouth. Therefore, when they read his books, they might feel that he was divinely inspired. God himself was guiding Joel's hands as he wrote how to make any day like Friday. This book, inspired by God, wrote by Joel Osteen, and handed to the masses for $22.95. For me, Joel, you're not as bad as Dr. Phil because you don't have the word doctor in your name. Whoop-de fucking. He's probably demonstrably fucking worse than, Dr. Phil, but he doesn't have doctor in his fucking name, so bleh. Fucking. You make no bones about the fact that you're a pastor, that your entire area of expertise is a book that not only contradicts but reads like a bad novel. Like, you would fucking know that, wouldn't you, Warcorpse? I could bring up all the bad shit in the Bible, but that will have to wait until another book. I'm literally waiting for you to write this fucking book, because I'd love to read it. If droves of self-deluded people want to buy a bullshit book that will give them the illusion of help, then fuck it. They deserve the letdown that comes quickly after finishing any of these self-help books or workshops. I mean, if people are too stupid to get the obvious flaw in these books, then they deserve to lose their money. The flaw being, if the self-help book worked especially, fucking Jesus Christ, one that got himself helped on, then wouldn't you only need one? I still think you're a fucking douchebag. I think that smile you have everyone your books is as fake as a fucking $3 bill. I think at some level you don't believe half the shit you write. I also strongly think that you do this for the money, nothing more. I strongly think you don't give a sautéed rat's ass about helping anyone except Joel Osteen. What is it with you and sautéed rat's ass? Like, what the fuck? You're really a lazy fucking writer, Warcorpse. Holy shit. Alright. Jennifer Lawrence. This is the last thing I'll read. The stupid, dumb Hollywood cunt that said it should be illegal to call somebody fat. Sorry, you dumb, stupid cunt, but you can't make it illegal to call somebody a mean name. Well, if you're actually deliberately pushing people towards fucking suicide, yes, you actually can. It would be illegal to make any word illegal here in the U.S. I'm not sure that's how any of that works. That's the way freedom of speech works, you fucking bitch. And again, freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequence. And you'd be like, oh, my fucking channels got taken down. It's not like there's no fucking reason why I should have my channels taken down, even though I have fucking lesbian porn in my fucking videos, and I fucking viciously abrade people in videos, and use the word faggot a lot, and blah 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 blah. But it's like, I don't deserve to have my channels taken the fuck down. Like, this is literally shit he said on fucking Twitter. Just because you don't think it's funny to call someone fat on television doesn't mean some of us don't find it hysterical, which again is fucking funny coming from you, you tub of shit. That's the way we roll here in America. I hate to break it to you, you little bitch. We get to humiliate, put down, and say whatever in the flying fuck we want to about anyone else. Up until you start lying, in which case libel and slander get involved, and if you're actually trying to actively ruin someone else's life, yeah, that's also illegal. That's what it means to be American and believe in the First Amendment, you dumb, stupid cunt. You just love the word cunt, don't you? If you can't take the fucking slings and arrows, I suggest that you just leave the public eye. Now, Jenny was talking solely about TV, but no one forces you to be on that. Well, this is a book, so I can say whatever I want about you, cunt face, and it's okay, right? There should be, question mark. Well, Lawrence, I don't really give two shits whether you think it's okay or not, because I'm legally protected, you fucking cunt. So, like it or not, Jennifer Lawrence, we have freedom of speech in this country, and that whole younger generation that you were talking about needs to toughen the fuck up. Same with you, Warcorpse, because you keep pissing and moaning about your channels getting taken down. Toughen the fuck up. Take your own goddamn advice. All words spoken or written just have the power that the reader or listener assigns them. If what I've said in this little thing upset anyone, I suggest taking a mightily powerful dildo, sticking up your cooch, and leaving it until you get a great big talking smile on your face. Fuck you. Notice though, I didn't call you fat once. Okay. That's it. Ta-ta. I'm not gonna make a fucking 50-minute long fucking video. But I'll see you in episode fucking 7. Ta-ta.